Hey, Anthony,
Yeah.
did you see the Pam Bondi hearing today?
Yes, I did. Very hard to watch, but that's honestly a good thing. It was so bad that even MAGA is having a hard time finding excuses for it, and not for a lack of trying.
What happened?
Well, the hearing itself was intended to be an interrogation of Bondi by Congress over the DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. As expected, what actually happened is that the Democrats spent several hours asking her questions that she refused to answer, while the Republicans, with the exception of Massey, basically ignored the files completely and spent the time asking her unrelated questions about immigrant crimes and the stock market so that she could spew more of the Trump administration's talking points. That being said, I do think there are three parts in particular which stand out to me and that I think everybody should watch. The first two being questions by Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin and Republican Representative Thomas Massey, respectively, which both address the DOJ's intentional disregard of Congress's orders to release the files, as well as the DOJ's absolute failure to properly redact the names and identity of Epstein's victims, while simultaneously consistently redacting names and identities of Epstein's co-conspirators. In one particularly bad example brought forth by Massey, a file that was sent to the FBI that included a list of the name of Epstein survivors who did not want their identities made public was published in the released files with all of the Epstein survivors' names visible, while the name of the lawyer who sent the file in was redacted, showing not only that the FBI did see the file in order to redact the lawyer's name, but intentionally chose to leave the survivors' names unredacted, presumably to expose them. Massey also reported that several of those survivors who wanted their identities to remain private have now started receiving calls about their names being in the files. The other notable portion is, of course, when Representative Jayapal asked Bondi to turn around and apologize to the 11 Epstein survivors who were standing behind her for the FBI's failure to contact them about the files, despite their repeated attempts to contact the FBI. Bondi responded to that question by refusing to apologize, saying that she's not going to get into the gutter for theatrics. And listen, none of this is exactly a surprise, right? I don't think anybody expected Bondi to answer the questions in this hearing honestly, but Bondi did so poorly that she couldn't even keep up a pretense of cooperation, to the point where she was, on several occasions, basically just reading insults about Democratic senators from her infamous burn book and devolving into shouting matches with them. So it was quite clear to anybody watching the hearing that she was there to do nothing more than be Trump's lapdog and cover for the rich and powerful in the files, and even in deep conservative spaces, they are acknowledging that. Combine that with all the latest information that's coming out of the files lately, and I think we are finally getting somewhere.